Hello everyone, hope you're fit and fine. So this is the third part of the chapter International Organizations, and I hope that you have seen the previous part 2. In part 2, I had explained about the need of reforms in the United Nations. So in this part, I'm going to discuss that what is India's stake in these reforms. So, if there will be any expansion of the Security Council, what would be India's strength, stake, claim? And then I'm going to discuss about how UN is a body that can balance United Nations, and what is the role of United Nations in the present unipolar world. So let's start the video. In the previous video part 2, you have seen that there are needs for reforms in the United Nations, and one of the major reforms that has been asked for is the expansion of the Security Council. So by the expansion of the Security Council, we mean that the number of permanent and non-permanent members in the Security Council has to be increased. Okay, so just to revise once more, the number of members in Security Council at present is 15, out of which there are 10 non-permanent members and 5 permanent members. Okay, these 10 non-permanent members are elected for a period of 2 years, and these 5 permanent members hold their seat permanently since the creation of United Nations. Now these 5 permanent members, who are these 5 permanent members? These are USA, Russia, UK, France and China. Okay, so now the demand is that the number of members in the Security Council, the membership of the Security Council should be raised. Last time this was raised was in 1965. So when the United Nations was created, there used to be only 11 members. Okay, out of these 11 members, 5 were permanent and 6 were non-permanent. These numbers were raised in 1965, and in 1965 this was made to be 15. So since 1965 this number is stagnant, it has not increased, and you have seen that how much the world realities have changed. Okay, so corresponding to that, there has been demand to increase the membership of the Security Council. Okay, so if there will be any future expansion of the Security Council, India has laid forward its claim also. India first of all has supported this demand that the membership should be raised, and has laid forward its claim also to be a permanent member, to be one of the P6 or P7, howsoever it will be. Okay, so India has said that it would like to be, it wants to become the permanent member. So what are the grounds on which this claim has been laid forward? Number one, India is the second most populous country in the world. The first most populous country is China, that you all know, but it is predicted that in the next census, India is going to surpass China as well. Okay, India's share at present in the world population is 18%. That means that 18% of the world population lives in India. This is a big number. Okay, so number one ground for claim of the permanent membership is this huge population, that we are a country that represent 18% of the world population. Second, the population makes us the world's largest democracy, largest functioning democracy. And when I say functioning democracy, it means that democracy in the truest sense. Okay, now formally speaking, elections are conducted in China also, but you know that they are that those elections are one party elections, which cannot be called a democracy at all. Okay, so India is the largest functioning democracy in the world. That is the second very strong ground on which the claim of India rests. The third thing is that India has participated in almost all the UN initiatives, and India's participation in the UN peacekeeping forces, peacekeeping missions has been appreciated a lot in the past. India has participated in almost 43 peacekeeping operations of United Nations. This is not a small thing. And India's role in the UN peacekeeping in cases such as the of a Congo crisis, Korean crisis is highly appreciated in Middle East, in many countries of Africa, in Somalia, in Ethiopia, and Eritrea. Indian peacekeeping personnel, peacekeeping forces have been doing so well and very much appreciated also. Then the country's economic emergence. India is also a big economic power at present. And in terms of GDP, India's ranking in the world stands at fifth at present. India is the fifth largest economy at present in the world. Okay, after USA, China, Japan, and Germany. Okay, USA and China are already the permanent member of Security Council. Japan and Germany are also big claimant for this permanent membership of the Security Council. So India's economy is fifth largest in the world. And it has never faltered on its financial contributions to United Nations. India has given full-hearted support to the basic objectives, basic purposes of the United Nations. India has been one of the countries that has led the non-aligned countries in the United Nations and has always taken a lead in putting forth the interest of the third world nations in United Nations. Okay, so on all these grounds, India's claim to the permanent membership is very strong. But at the same time, it is refuted also by those countries, by other countries who do not want India to become a permanent member. Okay, so let's see the objections to India's claims also. Some countries are concerned with India's nuclear weapon capability, saying that India has acquired nuclear weapon that goes against the spirit of peace. Others say that difficulties with Pakistan will make India's membership in the Security Council ineffective, and actually they are those powers who apprehend that India will use its permanent seat to tackle Pakistan, to deal with Pakistan in a diplomatic manner to suit its interest. Okay, then the most important thing is that there are other powers also, big powers in the world, whose claim towards the permanent membership is very much valid. Okay, and in this, the big names are Brazil, Germany, Japan, and South Africa. I already told you that the economy of Germany and Japan are at present above India's economy. Okay, if you see South Africa, then South Africa has a strong claim because none of the countries of the African continent is represented in Security Council. Okay, so if we go by the criteria of geographical representation, then obviously Brazil, a country from Latin America, and South Africa, a country from the African continent, hold a very strong claim. Okay, from Asia, China is already there. But since Asia is a very big continent, a very powerful continent, big powers are there in Asia. That's why India's and Japan claim are also very significant. Okay, so given these things, I told you already in the previous video that first of all Security Council needs to decide that which criteria is more important than the other. Either democracy or population or contribution to United Nations or economy or geographical representation, which criteria has more weightage than the other, then only this issue can be decided that who will get an increased permanent a quota of the increased permanent seat in the Security Council. Okay, now the next important topic in the chapter is UN and the unipolar world. Unipolar world means the world which is dominated by United States, which there's a hegemony of United Nations, and in this world then there is an apprehension, and it's not an apprehension, actually it's a reality, that United States has been using United Nations to further its interests, which is represented in this cartoon as well. So this is the personality here represents United States. In one hand you can see war, which is the hard power strategy of UN to win or to further its interests through war. If that doesn't work, then it uses United Nations. So it's using both the things. Through United Nations, if the things doesn't work out to its interest, then it takes recourse to war. Okay, and in taking recourse to war, many a times it has ignored the United Nations also. You have seen one instance in the case of the second Iraqi war. The military action against Iraq was not mandated by UN. Despite that, US went forward and attacked Iraq. Okay, so this role, if we expect United Nations to serve as a balance against US dominance, will it work? It is very difficult for UN. Why it is difficult for UN? Because US is a big military and economic power. Okay, then it is the single largest contributor to United Nations. United Nations we cannot imagine United Nations without US presence over there. Then the UN headquarters is physically present in US. That gives US a very big mileage over other countries. Okay, then the United States has veto power. If the Security Council takes any action or intends to take any action against the US, it will never be successful because US will exercise its veto power to save its interest. Okay, then because US has a veto power, it has a significant say in the choice of the Secretary General, which is a very important post, most significant post in the United Nations. Then it uses its power to split the world and reduce resistance to its policies. How US has been working diplomatically to divide the world opinion in its favor, you will come to know when you will be through with this book of world politics. You must have got a sense how US does that. Okay, the US also has many nationals in the UN bureaucracy, so many of the things that are going on in the United Nations, US has a big control over there. So taking all this into consideration, does it mean that the United Nations is just a tool in the hands of United States? That the United Nations functions at the diktat of America? Is it so? Okay, let's now discuss the role of the UN in the unipolar world. In this world reality, what is the role that United Nations is playing? Why we give such an important place to United Nations in world politics? And what role it can play in this unipolar world? So this comes as a 6 marker in the exam, that what is the role played by UN in the present unipolar world? or it can be asked as a HOTS also, that what is your opinion that the word that UN is able to balance the United States power, or in the world dominated by a big power, will UN be doing the functions it was organized for? So these points you can include, and you can make up your own opinion as well, depending upon the language of the question that is asked. Okay, so what role UN has played? It has served to bring US and the rest of the world into discussion over various issues. See, here we need to understand why League of Nations failed and why the Second World War occurred. The Second World War occurred and the League of Nations failed because the League failed to keep the big powers into it. When the big powers did not see any interest in the League of Nations, they started withdrawing from League of Nations. Okay, so Germany left League of Nations. So if a country is not a member of your organization, that country is not bound to listen to you as well. Fine. So the fact that UN has been successful in keeping US within the United Nations and making US listen to it is a very big achievement, looking at the power that US possesses at present. Second, it has it's serving the purpose in bringing together 193 nations at present in dealing with conflict. It is serving the purpose for which it was established. It is serving a platform where countries are dealing with it. And here I want to explain one more thing, that it is the only forum where these many nations are presented and where the third world countries are acting as a group to further their interests. Okay, so if there are concerns regarding a change in the international economic system, concerns regarding bringing the developed countries contribute towards ecological management, so these concerns are being raised and debated upon in United Nations only. Okay, it provides an arena within which it's possible to modify the US attitudes and policies, and many a times it has happened that listening to the word opinion, US has gave a rethinking to its policies and modified too as well. It is an imperfect body, nothing is perfect, it is an imperfect body, but if you can understand the importance of anything if you can imagine, if you start imagining the situations without it. Okay, so if you want to understand the importance of water, just imagine what not if water is not there. Okay, so anything, the importance of it, you can understand, just start imagining that that body doesn't exist and there is a crisis in the world. Where to discuss that, where to solve it, who will be listening to the voices of the least developed countries. So this is the body, and that is the main role of the UN at present. Okay, then in future this role is going to increase. Why? Because the interdependence is going to increase, and when interdependence increases, then you need to coordinate more, you need to talk more, there would be more conflicts, and where these conflicts would be solved, these conflicts would be solved in such forums. Fine. So this is all for this video. In the next video, I'm going to explain about three organizations that has been added up as per the new syllabus: UNICEF, UNESCO, and ILO. Okay, and there are a few organizations which are given in green boxes in your chapter. Those organizations are also important. Many questions are coming regularly in the boards from those green boxes as well. So in the last video of this chapter, I am going to discuss all of them. So don't miss that video also. So that is all for today. Keep learning, keep studying, and thank you for your lovely comments. And I'm very glad that I can help you all in such crisis situation at present. Keep posting your comments and your queries as well as your expectation that what you would expect more from me. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.